Right, it's the 4th of May 24. Despite being a fucking busy day, like on last night on Facebook, I was saying that these bearded chaps that are mistaking me as other people are being put in my direction every single day since basically the end of the lockdown, the start of back to normal life. That's every day, not just some days, every day. Well, that's come with more threats. I know, because I've walked into another 7 or 8 of those, plus a crowd of about 15 and a crowd of about 4 of them. And it's come with me being mistaken as Liam and Savan, as well as threats under my real name. And I'm not exactly very happy about it. Bearded, hippie, fucking gangster type person, as they always put in my direction. Bearded type, bearded type, bearded type, bearded type. Wants to smash me and put a knife in me over. Right, so I've been out. There's been about 5 people that have sneezed in my face, which is not too bad, considering, but it's still not great. There has been a lot of people spit talk over me and cough, so around about 10 more on top of that. When you consider 2022 for this sort of day, roughly this time of year, it could have been roughly 150 in this time, in one day, on a bad day. It has been more than that, but when you consider the hour I've been out, that's not too bad. The person I wanted to see wasn't. There was a stand-in, so I didn't manage to see that person. And obviously, there's been a couple of people photographed me. There's been a few threats, and about 100 loud bikes tied to an erection as well. Right, someone off the premises of where I live has said being beat up your child abuser very aggressive, but someone who's a middle-aged man, 40s, 50s, said you're the paedophile chap that's meant to be knifed, and this is a person obviously helping to remove the stuff from the evicted neighbour. So this person's not very happy. I've not seen him before, but that was what was said. It's the 5th of the 5th, 24. Let me just double check that on the camera, because it decided to stop. And paedophile knife him dead, and that's the paedophile knife him dead said by 2 different people. Very similar threats between the 2 bearded types of people. 3 people photographed me, an argument, and one of those threats was a mistaken identity. Sad, 7 said, and photographed by someone. And there's been another mild threat. They've all been mild at the moment, luckily. And that's mistaking me as Savan again. Again, bearded chap. The previous threat wasn't a bearded chap, but all the rest before that, and yesterday, and the one after that is magical burning sexual music playing in M&S. Low rubbish music, in fact. Spit talking has just landed right in my eye, and I've had to go into St John's Church to wash my eye in the sink with whatever's there, soap, conditioner, whatever. So I'm not happy about that. And it happened on the steps, and it happened timed. Wet spit cough goes into my eye.
Teachers and leaders, asking God to give them His wisdom. We pray for our friends and our families, asking God to meet them all their needs. We even pray for people who don't seem to like us and treat us unkindly, asking God to bless them. Amen.
Right, there's not too much in the way of setups until we reach here, where there's been about 40 cars. 10 of those at least have collided on corners and whatever. It's the busiest I've known this road for a time. However, I haven't even been down there for quite a while, but on the Barrack route. I had church today because obviously I went into a first service to do a bit of socialising or whatever. I wouldn't say I'm religious as as hard religious person, but I spoke to someone I know called Lot Seaburn, and he was explaining how he hears these voices in his head, and that Jesus Christ, the Father, talks to him. People would use a simple explanation as being schizophrenia or something like that, but rather unusual content if it is, so maybe he really is speaking to God. Anyway, Jehovah Yahweh is sending Yeshua through him, and he's getting messages which are on a daily basis. Mainly when he wakes up, he does a lot of prayer, and Jesus comes through him. He wears Jesus clothing, so he has like white gown or whatever, and whatever you call it, and so I believe he has a place to stay, but he sort of kind of stays homeless at the same time. He's on sort of benefits, which is something like ESA and PIP or something like that. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but so to the story I've been told, he was in prison, and this is where he saw Jesus, or Jesus made communication to set him free from the sinful world, and the likelihood is in time he will go to paradise, because we're living in the last hour, so I'll keep updated on that issue. Right, regarding the neighbour that's been evicted, there's a bit of an update. It's not been too bad. The burning was still quite bad last night temporarily, but it started to ease. I'm not exactly sure what's causing it. I don't like accusing people using, energy weapons or whatever you want to call it like that, because I don't know for certain, because it might not be, but whatever it is, it can be quite painful when it happens. This could be trapped nerve, but I will see if it continues. Obviously the hospital are not willing to take any action at this minute in time when I went there last week. Anyway, the neighbours, although he's lost his temper, they can't tell me what was on the CCTV, and they think that it got deleted, and so the police have seen it, but what's happened is when they wanted to retrieve the information, they lost the recording, so it got deleted. But the police are sort of covering his back, I guess. This is if the story's true, because the staff are not allowed to tell me nothing, so I've got to go with what I'm hearing in conversation or whatever, and what I've heard other people say in conversation. So he's escaped being sectioned, which surprised me actually, because if you're going to go aggressive and make 1 to 2 centimetre and holes in the door, like a sturdy type wooden door with a knife, I'm surprised at that, but maybe there's reasons. So he's escaped that. He's escaped jail, obviously, because of his mental health problem of schizophrenia. He has been evicted by housing, so he won't be coming back, and he's not allowed to walk up the street at Thorn House. He still lives locally, so the likelihood is me or other neighbours are going to see him in town or whatever. What else was I going to say? So I think that's it really on that. I think there's something else I was going to say. I forgot. It's not popped out of my head. So as I believe he's going to stay at his partner's. So one of the neighbours mentioned that. I can't say the neighbour's name. So that's that, I guess. Yeah. I've just looked at my phone to see what the time is, and the time is 11:55. Ronnie Size and DJ Crust. 11:55. Gangster Mix. I used to have that track. It's a jungle track, mellow sort of low down type of jungle track. I wouldn't say rare groove as such, sort of more ragga, sort of wild jungle that's really chilled back from mid 94 area. So it's a good track. It's not a favourite, but it's a good track. So I thought I mentioned the track since I was looking at the clock time of 11:55. I've had one of these Bibles before. It's the New Testament and Psalms. So Lotsy was speaking to me, and he said he really want to, because I got my King James is at my father's, so I don't actually have a Bible. And the one I did have at my place got mislaid when I was in a mood. So I've had so I helped myself to one of the Gideon's free New Testament and Psalms Bibles, and I may read a couple of chapters in there later on, while I'm out. But usually I look at stuff online, and if I don't, I can always take it back to the church. But it is handy to have a small book on you to have a read when you get bored, when there's nothing else to do, waiting for a bus or whatever, assuming setups and construction force isn't heavy. It's decided to rain, which is good news and bad news. One, the sun is out, and secondly, I'm sweating, so it helps to cool me off. I actually wouldn't say the sun's out, I'd say it's hazy sunshine, but it's still, that weather's always the same, you know, it's always sunny. At St John's Church this morning, there's a little girl that put the key into the lock to open the heart out, or to make an entrance into paradise. Only joking. No, there was a little girl when Ben was on stage, not on stage, up on the front, doing the service. He called this little girl to come and unlock the thing. Well, I just saw a bloke about age 35 with a missus that looks almost identical looking to that girl. Obviously in an adult, obviously, but same sort of appearance, same sort of smoothness in like skin, if you want to call it that. Same looks. I sort of found that quite unusual, because the bloke, however, wasn't a nice looking person. He wouldn't have bearded type, but he's the sort that would startle me. He's not a hardcore raving type, but sort of the type that would wear a baseball cap, but shaved, if you know what I mean. But worth mentioning. And also it's worth mentioning, not quite the same looking, but another bloke in his 20s was with a lookalike, high 20s possibly, to the little girl, that's the foreign girl that was sitting just in front of me and Lotsy, initially when I was sitting on the downstairs pews, in the church. So interesting. Time 11:55. Well, that time's gone. It's now lunchtime, so it's 12 o'clock. So it's time for eating it. Well, I've got soaking wet legs and slightly wet socks, but what's happened is it's overgrown the pathway down Jack the tree eater, and the council haven't cut the weeds out, and we just had like a rainstorm, and so I'm a little bit annoyed by that, actually, to be fair, because I'm not sure how far I can actually get down, because it doesn't look very helpful down here. However, other people have walked down here because you can see it. Rose says, haha, child molester. He's having a fucking robbery, said, from over there. About 3 minutes ago, I've just seen those two that are fucking each other that I mentioned back in September of last year in the cornfield. Well, the girl is a bit older than what I initially thought. So she's about 12-ish, something like that. Well, I thought she's only about 8 or 9, maybe 13. And obviously the chap looks around about 22, 23. Well, I got out of the way because I knew who it was. I wasn't in the mood for arguing because I was trying to sort the camera out because one of the batteries went flat in the camera. Well, the actual girl that passed me, who he was having sex with, believe it or not, is the same girl that was on the South Peverton bus from Yeovil on the first ever day that I went on that specific bus, when I shortly after I moved to Yeovil. So she was, at the time, you know, obviously a few years younger than what she is now. There's a specific Bible verse that I've got a painting to that resembles that specific girl's face, and it looks like the one where it says, what was it? I can't remember the actual, I think it's Job something. It's basically, why don't you forget these words, and why don't you speak to us when you can speak to me more clearly, or something like that. What was it? I'll tell you in a minute if I can remember. But yeah, she looks identical to that. She's only walked past pregnant at that age, so not good, is it? And she has a ring on her finger as well, by the way. So, but and it smelled like she was chewing cinnamon chewing gum. You know, I didn't know you could still get it, but that's what it smelled like she was chewing. And obviously she's at Barrack with this person, so obviously, well, yes, but that chap has started on me in the past and called me a sicko and a paedophile and whatever, and I thought to myself, well, you can speak, because, you know, what I saw in September. But anyway, I'll leave it there, but I will say it's something like the Bible verse is Job something. It was in double figures, I think it was, in Job. I'm trying to think what it was. Why don't you end these speeches? When we come together, we can speak together in person. It's something like that, but, you know, sort of, but I can't remember the exact Bible verse. Also, in the subway of Yeovil, they've painted over all the graffiti that's there, and there's a little girl's head, and it's got it says "listen" on it, and it's that girl actually looks very similar to that painting as well, that graffiti. So yeah, worth mentioning. Like I said, I didn't get any trouble today, and obviously I didn't kick off either because I'm in a calm mood, and there's no reason for me to kick off. In actual fact, it's very rare I can't kick off. I lost my temper going back about a month ago in a rainstorm, and it's the worstest I've been on in 15 years. But there were several things that were causing me to get unhappy. One, I was extremely tired, and it was just a few days after I came back from staying at my dad's. The other reason was because I've not had sex all my life, apart from being sexually abused as a child and being told I'm a sick cunt if I don't fancy a granny. And the aggression in the building and the burning sensation that's occurring extremely bad. I think the burning sensation is what done it, so I needed to, and there was a lot of animal voice sounds at that time. Not so many threats, but at home it was bad. And there was a load of loud bikes, time to erection, animal voice sounds and whatever. The build up just sort of, I could control my temper, but I just wanted to let it out. I just wanted to go in a quiet area where there's no one about and just really give myself a bit of a go, you know. But while I was doing that, I had to explain myself to an old granny, because although I kicked off again after the granny passed, I waited about 15 minutes till she passed, and I was hiding under a torrential rain, someone's garage shelter thing. But I had to explain myself that, sorry about that, I was in a bad mood. So she was alright with that, and she says, you know, she wasn't happy, but she understood the situation, and she was surprised that I calmed down suddenly to say alright and act normal, basically. But anyway, that's that. I'll leave it there. Got a rainstorm at the moment, in fact. Just starting. Throughout my life, the whole of my life, nearly every single enemy or rough type person that's given me trouble, or a rough type person that I've passed, including the days of when this Amy Weston lark was going on, or, well, basically apart from maybe 1%, if that, out of 99%, Every one of these people that have started on me has been with a soft skin, smooth skin, sexual model looking type lady under the age of 30. Even today, even the ones that are about 40 odd that are giving me threats, you may get a couple that are not so sexual now, where I'm getting threats from people, but right up until 2019 area, whenever people were giving me threats, all these people, rough types of people that are giving me threats, they've always been people that have had sexual looking girlfriends or been in sexual relationships with children. I'm not quite sure what's being said there, but something's going on. I just got to get through. I'm not exactly sure what that event is, if it is an event. There's the people walking. And it sounds like someone on a big speaker. It sounds very close. But why people kicking off, but that's what pisses me off. I will mention that, is these people that always start on me are always with these sexual women. The type, because these sorts of people are like with people that I'm told I'm a sick cunt if I look at. And these people are sort of, some of them are 20 years younger than me, and you think to yourself, well, if I look at that, I'm known as a sick cunt. I've not had anyone in my whole life. But you know, there's nothing you can do about it. So, as we go through the story, I've mentioned this loads of times before, but I'll give you a recap. If you look at anyone under the age of 40, you're known as a sick bastard. If you're at the age of 40 plus, you're not supposed to have sex with anyone in either direction, regardless whether the age is higher or lower, or you're known as a sick bastard. You're known as a sick bastard if you don't go with a single mother, and you're not supposed to go with a single mother unless their children have reached legal age and their children are in relationships as well, and departed from the so-called girlfriend that is available for that person who's over that age. So this is quite an insult, especially when you've never had anyone in your whole life. So this is basically saying, and also before I go any further, you're being told to go with people twice the age of people that sexually abused me as a child as well. At the time they would have been at the age that it happened, when you consider today, and you still hadn't had nothing in your whole life. And you're being told you're a sick cunt if you look at anyone who, Jesus Christ, had sex with Mary Magdalene when he was in his 20s and she was 11. That's why it's taken out of the Bible, because it gives the suggestion of paedophilia, and it makes it sound like Jesus Christ is a child molester, and that's why it had to be removed from the Bible, because new rules and regulations have come in the last several hundred years regarding this issue, and people have to go with an age which looks a bit more suitable between the two, rather than a man going with a child, and that's what Jesus did in that time. The other thing is, Jesus Christ was 33 when he was crucified. In January 2024, it's sort of a friendship group where people are talking about dating, said that I'm a sick cunt if I don't look at anyone over the age of 40. So I was thinking to myself, that means everybody in the whole world that's had sex under the age of 40 is a sick cunt, regardless of what age it is they've had sex with. So I had to look at that principle if I'm being told that and I've not had anything properly in my whole life. So the other thing I wanted to mention is the year before, I had a load of threats to be knifed down, to be shot dead, being mistaken as Sven, and my real name Justin coming up in these threats as well. So what happened is, last year wasn't too bad, there's hardly any threats at all, New Year's Eve. But right on the beginning of New Year's Eve, just before midnight, and in the countdown of counting down into the new year, a Ukrainian lady started a row with me saying I was a sick cunt when I asked her if she was single. So, and there's only I can't remember what the age gap was, but there's a bit of an age gap, but nothing too drastic, and it's not something that people usually moan about, or they've not moaned about in the past. And being a foreigner, they usually allow a bit more within the age gap. Either way, that Ukrainian woman had a good go at me right on the countdown of New Year of 2022 into 2023. So, you know, it's not good, is it? I'm getting flies in my mouth. I'm going to end this recording now. I think there's an event or something because this path's getting very busy. So I just passed another 10 people in literally, a matter of 3 minutes, if that. So I've decided to go to the catalytic converter hot point and take a walk back, basically, because obviously there must be an event or something because it's busier than usual. So, however, I've known it busy, but on days where there hasn't been events, but you know, that time's come where I've got to go. No cars at the catalytic converter point. That's amazing, isn't it? That's very rare. However, there is a car now, even though it just got passed. You know, I mentioned that there's a Gemma Ferguson lookalike that I walked past, and I said she only looks like she's in her early 20s and sexual looking, and that she sort of changed her appearance when she passed me, or made me sound like I'm a sicko or whatever later on after me walking past her in future times, from the first time when she sort of smiled in a sexual way. Well, I didn't know she's 43 years of age. She's only sort of discussing it with the people she's walking with, and she only looks like she's in her early 20s with a smooth, soft sort of skin type. So I'm a bit surprised at that. So, but, you know, I've got to mention it because obviously I didn't expect that. Well, I'm just a little bit shocked about what I just mentioned. I'll give you a bit more storyline to this because I thought she was only about 22 or 23 because she has softer, smoother skin and younger looking than Gemma Ferguson, who's actually 32 or 33. So, yeah, I'm a little bit shocked to find out that this person looks younger than Gemma and she's actually 43 years of age. Because what happened was she was walking around with a crowd, which I assume is going to like that event at the top there. I'm not exactly sure what that event is, but I don't think it's anything that's incredible as a car boot sale or anything like that. I think it's some different kind of event, maybe a rock and roll festival or a guitar show. I ain't got a clue, but there's a possibility she's going there. But at the same time, I've seen her on a regular basis in the past, so she's definitely a local. When I first saw her initially, just go back to last year, she did a smile at me, and I thought, a woman at only age 22, 23, smiling in a sexual way at me, I thought, I've never not had that. You know, I thought that's unbelievable. But at the time I didn't know she was 43. And then obviously this same woman saw me a couple of other times, got a bit more sterner and just walked past saying nothing. Then this Seven thing came in because she thought I was Seven, because somebody, or she got some information or something's been caused or some troublemaking's occurred. She thought I was Seven. Things got a bit nasty, and nowadays she just walks past. In recent times when I see her, she just walks past saying absolutely nothing, maybe giving the evil eye at times, but everything's calm when she passes. Today, no expression at all. She just walked past, speaking with the people that she's speaking to naturally, as if you're not there, sort of thing. During setups earlier this year, they were making the suggestion that she's a replacement to Gemma, because Gemma's fallen, if you want to use that interpretation of terms. Well, that wouldn't be a bad choice actually, because she's actually sexier, smoother skin, and a more sexual looking face than Gemma. Even though Gemma is basically, this lady's basically my age, exactly. So I can't understand why she's making it sound like I'm sick. I don't know if I look older than what I am, but whatever the issue is, this is interesting. Gemma's younger, but she looks older, where this person that looks like Gemma is younger. I don't know, I can work out what the clock is going off in my... Hey, I haven't set the bloody, hang on. I've just had a paranormal experience. It appears my phone is locked, it's in my pocket and it's doing nothing. The alarm is not set to get up or anything like that. And at 40 something minutes past 12 p.m, so it's nearly 1 p.m. in the afternoon. It just, while I was doing this video, I said, it's time to get up. The time is whatever it said, I can't remember what it said. And I thought, what's going on there? But, yeah, it's worth mentioning. But, I'll leave it there. They're increasing the traffic on that road. Loads of black and blue, sick grey, white cars, I've noticed. Apart from the setups on the road, I just want to continue with this Gemma issue. I do find this very interesting because obviously I didn't get the camera out because I didn't know what she was going to say, so I didn't film it, and I thought there's nothing for me to film, you know, or mention. I had my pen and paper, obviously. Well, her battery's gone flat, or one that hasn't been charged. Anyway, Gemma Ferguson, it was a sort of sexual person up until it was about 2 years ago, just about a year or just over after I moved to Yeovil, that her appearance started to go into sort of negative attraction. But then again, if we go back 10 years, just under 10 years ago, two people roughly my age or just a bit older, one of them was definitely a bit older, but I'm not sure about the other one, they said that they were actually shocked that I could fancy Gemma Ferguson, and thinking that he's not a sicko if you can fancy Gemma Ferguson. But because times have changed in the last decade and people moan about age gaps, she's actually got me down as a sicko, because she doesn't know me, she doesn't like me, and obviously she's phoned me up saying I'll get everyone to have a smash her, and there's a possibility she could be linked to that person that wanted to meet up pretending to be a single woman that wanted to smash me out on the railway track with a knife, going back to the beginning of 2022 area, the spring of 2022. So that's just a theory. It might not be caused by that person, it could be by several different people, but either way, all those people I've stopped having communication with, both on the internet or in any sort of formal way, or even tried contacting. All these people in the past have fallen and turned against me, so I don't bother. But anyway, Gemma's sort of gone into an attraction where she's very, very basic. So I can fancy her, but only just. There's a very fine line, because obviously she's the sort that goes into a negative attraction at a young age. She's nowhere near as negative as this Lisa Pike I mentioned, but she's the sort that could go in, when she reaches her 40s, she's definitely a sort that will go into serious negative attraction I won't be able to fancy. But just one of those that sort of goes into like the type of face that look like sick coming off the floor. So it will be it's too late now, near enough, basically, to go with that person. So maybe this is why they are suggesting this new Gemma. But it doesn't seem to be with age, you know, because this person said she's 43 in the crowd that she's with, and she only looks like she's 22, 23. She looks younger than Gemma. She has a more sexual face than Gemma. And to be fair, whether she's single or not, I do not know. She looks like she is, but I'm just a little bit shocked on this. So it doesn't always count, you know. People that are older can look a lot younger than people that are older. So obviously, in common knowledge, people do look like that in general. It's interesting. It's worth mentioning. Not that anything's going to occur sexually or anything like that, because I'm a very unlucky person. I haven't had sex all my life, but it's just interesting just an interesting story that I'd, you know, worth mentioning. Just, you know, just to put a story together. Really, it's just something worth mentioning. You know, I don't have nothing else to mention, so I thought not many setups today, so I thought I'd add this to the story. But anyway, that road's a bit awkward. I'm not sure what it's going to be like when I go back, but it does seem to be a bit busy today, that specific road. The setups are not too heavy, but that specific road is. This is interesting, because a bearded chap's just started a row with me. I managed to keep myself from retaliating or saying anything, but I was not very bloody happy. I'm basically saying that you should be knifed down, you molested Sadie Dando, you sick prick. So I'm not very happy about that, because it's not true. I've never had sex with Sadie Dando. Two black cows having sex, and they're next to the gate, making it very difficult to pass them, but I managed to get past. Photographed and beat you up child rapist said by a black person. There's been several more threats when I was walking back. why I was out because it's too busy. It's not usually busy as this for me to not be able to say anything. So we had you having your head smashed in and life taken because you're a sick cunt by a bearded person. An Indian person is saying I'm Savan and you're losing your life, you're being shot dead and being fucking knifed down, you child rapist and woman beater. The next thing is what is it? Fist fight, Mongrel said, and the fist into the hand, and someone says dead meat, beef, child molester, while walking up just outside their own house, near enough.